Hey everyone, today we're going to check on some culverts on this dirt road. The road is not plowed beyond this gate. Wow, not one vehicle has been down this road since it snowed. I do see sets of tracks. One person and one dog have come down here today since the snow. There's also a bunch of sticks in the road. You can hear a crunch. Crunch, crunch. Alright, we gotta do a slip test before we hit some hills. That's not bad at all. But you see right there, I did piss off the anti-lock brake. That's what that noise was. Not slippery at all unless you really try to be reckless driving around on these roads at like 40. To me, that felt like underneath the snow there's like a layer of sleet, but not ice. Okay, just past the guy with the dog. He turned around on this road somewhere. It's kind of cool being the only set of tire tracks out here. There's so many sticks on this road from the windstorm a few days back. Lots of sticks today. Crunch. We got a blockage here. Possibly. There's a ton of water because it rained a lot yesterday. That's why there's barely any snow. It like flash froze overnight. Temperature dropped towards the end of the rainstorm. What do we got? Oh, cool. We do got a blockage. So how's it looking? Let's do a before and after. See what's going on across the street. Whoop. All right, let's get back over there. Quickly remove that. I'm climbing on top of the culvert, so I don't have to get the boots out yet. Just a few sticks cause this whole puddle. And a little bit of excavator damage right there helping the clog form. Oh, it just got loud on the other side. Let's go check out the progress. Oh. Definitely a lot more water coming out than before. Alright, this is what it looks like before. And that's awesome. That's a aluminum culvert. It'll basically last forever unless it is crushed. But this one's pretty deep in the ground. Looking good. This looks like a good cruncher right here. It's bigger than it looks. Hey everyone, now that we're at this culvert, I'm sure you guys will recognize it. There's a good amount of flow coming out of it. I remember back in the day, nothing was coming out of this pipe. It's definitely still improved since last time we did it. Alright, there's a blockage right there. It's about where it is, because you see, what you're seeing there, that's the crumpled culvert pipe. It's right there. We're going to drain back this entire pool of water. Now, the reason it's not flooding over the road is because it's doing what it's designed to. If it gets clogged or blocked, it goes down here to the next culvert. Comes into right here, which we do have a stick, because this is how a clog forms. A few sticks in the entrance. That's the building blocks of a clog. Oh, this is a big old stick. It's attached to a bunch. Alright. Water's really cold. Okay, coming across the street. Over here. See it? Tree is blocking more than half of the culvert's capacity. Beautiful icicles though. Alright, here we go. Let's get to work. Whoa! This stick is jammed in there so far. It's really wedged in there, that stick. Oh! Oh! It's really bad, the stick. How the heck did that get stuck in there? The clog's also frozen, but I'm slowly getting it with my hands. Oh, another stick. Alright, that's about as much as we can get it open, because an idiot with an excavator has crumpled it. Hand is so cold now. Oh man. Gotta pull down my sleeve and start warming up again. Well, the pond's already dropping back. Look at the edge over there. Already dropped back a good 4 inches. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Look at that whirlpool. Awesome. There was a good one, but it went away, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it went away. Still dropping a ton. Oh, the whirlpool's coming back a little bit. Let's go see the blasting on the other side. Look at it now compared to what it was a minute ago. We're blasting out of that culvert. And it's all going downstream. So this actually leads to a beaver pond. So they're gonna have a few 100 gallons of new water. Take a look at a whirlpool's back. Oh, I gotta get some leaves and throw them into there to show you guys the power. Wow, look underneath. You can see the whole whirlpool down there. Wow. As soon as it gets down to the top of the culvert, that whirlpool's gonna stop. Let's see some stuff get sucked into it. Yep, getting sucked right down. Ooh. Now the drainage ditch is working in reverse. It's no longer going down to that other culvert. Working in reverse. Culvert's almost out of the water. Still got our little whirlpool friend. And I'd say around the edge, the water has now dropped back probably 8 inches. Taking a look at that beautiful waterfall back here. Looks like little stairs. My hands warmed up really quickly. Body sent a lot of blood there. Now they're nice and hot. Well, look at that. So we got only 2 more inches remaining until we get to the top of the culvert. Then that whirlpool is going to break. Because right now the culvert is working so efficiently, it's siphoning. As soon as this thing gets air, it's going to break. Oh, look at all the debris on the bottom getting sucked over as it causes an undertow. That is so cool. We got to get some of this debris out of here, then it'll be harder to get the clog, or harder to clog up again. It's like, see all this slurry of leaves? Let's feed it to the culvert. Oh, a few sticks are mixed in. Oh, it took those leaves pretty well. All right, that's about the best we can do this today. Water's still dropping. Still got the whirlpool. It's about to break in another ½ an inch. You can see right there, the snow is a perfect barrier. You can see how much it dropped. I'd say that's about 16 inches now. It's gonna drop a few more. And every time we've unclogged this culvert in the past, a lot of people say I should try to go in there with a crowbar. That's not going to work unless I had like an 8-foot long crowbar. I have a video. I actually came out here with a 4-foot crowbar, which is the biggest one I own, and that corrugated culvert is thicker than you think. It's not going to just straighten out from a crowbar. Not easily. You would need something more like the jaws of life. And people say to use a scissor jack that would be in my car. I don't have a scissor jack. I have a, I don't know what it's called. Is it called a bottle jack, I think? Where it uses the hydraulic fluid to push up as you know, back and forth, and it pumps it up using oil. I think that's what you call it, a bottle jack. But I'm not going to wreck that thing by putting it in here. I wouldn't even fit in the entrance. Even a scissor jack on a car, yes, I think that would fit. Because the opening, this is a 18-inch culvert, I think. It's kind of hard to tell by the mangled. The other side, it looks like an 18-inch culvert. The opening's probably this big, and that needs to be stretched open. But that's not even the easiest part. The easiest way to fix this would be for the Park Service to cut off the end 8 inches. Then it would be fully open. Culvert has very minimal damage. This thing will probably go strong for another decade at least. It's not rotted out. Looks pretty good. Now, undertow is getting stronger. You can see a ton of leaves getting sucked over, which is cool. And you guys can see how easy clogs form. A storm just washes a couple sticks, not even sticks. A big clump of leaves can get stuck there. The entrance is so small. Just a clump of leaves got it stuck. You saw when I was trying to rake everything over to try to get rid of it? I actually semi-clogged it just by raking junk over. Okay, we're probably still dropping, but it's very minimal at this point. I think at this point the water's coming in probably just as fast as it's leaving. So overall, we probably dropped back probably 18 inches or so. That was pretty fun. Well, this one's not going to clog probably again this season. This area's forecast, I'm looking it up as we talk right now on the phone. Just waiting for it to load. There's not much of a signal here. Anyways, basically yesterday there was a flash flooding that clogged a whole bunch of culverts because we had about 6 inches of snow. Suddenly it became 50 degrees and raining, so everything just melted immediately. And then last night another cold front came through and everything flash froze. While it was raining, it switched over to snow near the end, and that's why you see a dusting. That's more of a coating of snow, like a ½ an inch everywhere. Yep. But the water is still high right now from yesterday's event. I don't think this is going to happen again until the spring thaw. Oh, it loaded. The forecast up here every single day is in the 20s, and at night it's in the single digits. It even looks like there's a -3 in there. Yep. So this whole thing is probably going to freeze up, unless it's groundwater. Groundwater tends not to freeze nearly as fast because it's coming out of the ground, which keeps itself warm for quite a ways downstream. But seeing over on the edge is how there's little bits of ice. This thing was starting to form a sheet over the top. But then I showed up to drain it. Alright, this looks good. Give you guys a quick look at what we're dealing with now that the water is very shallow. See it? Oh, since I unclogged, there's even leaves now getting stuck. You see on the edges, because it's sharp, it just collects a wall of leaves until it overcomes the whole thing. Yeah, see right here? There's already leaves starting to collect on the edges. Yep, that's going to probably block the next storm. But look how beautiful over here looks. These nice, looks like stairs, this waterfall. And there's nice moss. The moss is more blackish this time of year because it's in hibernation. But in the spring, this is going to be a bright green waterfall. This culvert is definitely stupidly undersized. Look at this, you got a permanent stream coming into it. This is the size culvert you would have just for the drainage ditch, not the stream. They should definitely have probably a 2-foot culvert there, not 18 inches. I'd go with a 3-foot. Got some more good crunchies here. We got another genius design right here. Not a clog, but take a look at it. Look at all the sticks and debris right here. You know how easily this thing's gonna get clogged come the next storm? It's not clogged right now, but look how small that culvert is. Way undersized. Going down a pretty steep hill right now. It does not feel slippery, but I'm not taking any chances. I keep getting pulled into ruts. There's a whole bunch of ruts here from what looks like tractor trailers. Because this area looks like it had a bunch of slush that froze last night before the snow. Hey everyone, we're back on this road. It's snow covered today. We had a bunch of rain yesterday and we're seeing what's happening. There's dozens of trees down across this road from that windstorm. It's amazing. So many trees, and I'll show footage of that, me clearing them up right after we check out this culvert, which appears to be completely clear. Go over on this side. Got a bunch of ice. This is probably a beaver dam, this triangular. Yeah, that's probably an old beaver dam, but it's short. It's not causing any problems. Now, last time we were here, we unclogged this culvert. You see there's another beaver dam right here holding up this amount of water, which is all right. It's only a concern if the thing is nearly underneath, then it would be a freezing hazard. We actually have a little grouse bird poking around in there. Those are very beneficial. Those will pick off all the fleas and ticks in the springtime. All right, last time we came to check this out, probably a good 3 feet of standing water here. Whole area was flooded. If you want to check out that video, it'll be in the description. Culvert's in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of new beaver material here, but that could have been there for the past few weeks. It's been about 1 month since we've been here. There's no attempt by the beavers to do anything. You see the excavator damage is what helps them build, because it's sharp, they can build right against it. This pond right here, we can actually get it down a little bit. Because you see, the reason the pond's not dropping is because the other side's flooded. You see how it's barely going in there? Now maybe we can do something on the other side to improve this situation. You see there's more tree debris down there. Road crews are really gonna have to fix this road. There's some pretty big ones I just can't move. And you see this dangerous one right here leaning? That's gotta be cut because that's gonna fall. The bottom's broken or uprooted, definitely. Oh, and you see this one right here? See this big stump right here? That's all crooked and that's in the road too. All right, let's go check this out. It's a bit slippery. Well, that wasn't very smart of the road crews, putting their marker on this annual plant. Should have put it on the tree. Okay, here's a pile of debris and rocks that the guy with the excavator cleared out of this hole. Because look at all, it's all beaver debris. There must have been a massive clog at some point. Making my way through the swamp. When we unclogged that last time, where I'm standing now, all this went underwater with the big surge. Very muddy. There's a pretty fresh beaver marks in the past couple of weeks. It's now winter time, so they're not going to be rebuilding in this kind of weather. It's too difficult to build. Everything's frozen. They can't get adequate mud. But this beaver pond does not have a lodge. That's one of their secondary ponds. Just like this. This right here is a secondary pond holding this water up right here. This is not their home. They're just creating a reserve. That's what beavers are for. They create water reserves to prevent wildfires and keep the water table high. See this right here? There's another tree trunk. And if we walk further in the swamp down here, see all this another section of water? There's another dam and another and another. That's fine. This is their habitat. They can have this all to themselves. They're not causing any kind of issue. But right here, we're gonna unclog underneath this log, get that free, and we're gonna remove this little bit of debris so we can get everything affecting the culvert pipe out of place. Alrighty, let's get to work. Time for the rake, now that I got all the big debris out of place. It's starting to flow good. We got that starting to flow pretty good now. You know, this water here is actually over a foot deep once you hit the riverbed. Right now you can see how deep the water really is. See that? We got the channel all clear. Now we got to go downstream and get the water flowing underneath that log. Then this will really accelerate in a few minutes. All right, we just got to clear this up and get it going underneath the log, and then everything upstream and across the street will be able to drain freely. There we go! Great. Now we got some current going. This will help drain across the street so it doesn't affect the road throughout the winter. All right, we're gonna clean this up a little bit more before we go and head out. Now you can see there's a lot of current upstream, and that'll help drain across the street. What I'm doing right now is getting a giant opening underneath so it doesn't jam up again quickly. Oh, we're getting this really good. All right, pretty good. We're gonna leave it at that. Now we're gonna go across the street in a couple of minutes and you can see the difference. All right, now that there's a lot of water coming here, it'll drain across the street. Let's get back up onto the land. Cool. Never seen a beaver remove branches like that. Standing here. Now that I can tell you, probably in the past few days. And this right here, looks like they're just hungry. Now we're gonna go down here into their swamp just a little bit. We're not removing any dams, we're just here to check this out. As you can see from me unclogging this little thing, water's about 2 inches higher, but that's only temporary. That'll drop back in just a little while. You see all these deep channels throughout their pond? All these random canals are made by the beavers, so they can get around easier. Now, their lodge could be literally anywhere, because up ahead here on satellite images, there's a couple giant ponds, and probably most of them are secondary ponds. Now, isn't this cool? This whole thing is a beaver dam. You see how this is higher than all the water? This right here is an old beaver dam. It's so old, grass is growing over it and you can't see it. The grass is actually strengthening it. See the sticks in there? So what they've created here is a lock of water. Right here in the middle is probably 4 feet deep. And then it spills over the side, continues downstream to another dam and another and another, and it keeps going on. That's how they keep a reserve of water. See right here? Now you can see how tall the dam really is. It's a good 3 or 4 feet. What you're seeing above water is only 3 feet. I'm considering, see down here? Actually more like 5 feet if I was standing down there in that deep water. Really cool what these guys do. Yeah, their lodge would never be built on a small pond like this, unless they were desperate for it, such as living in a city or something. When out here, they have much larger ponds, just a few hundred feet ahead. Looks like mostly cattails. Gotta carefully make my way back out to the street. At the beginning of this video, how many of you guys did I trick about that gate? I never opened the gate or anything. Those other clips were from different roads. This is the road with the gate, and I personally walked up it 4 miles to get to this location. Anyways, right here, see I removed this dam and down there? Now that it's drained back, you can see how deep it really is. There's a good 16 inches of water in this narrow canal. And look back here. Look how much water we just lost by doing that little bit of maintenance. Right here was covered with water on the edge. And look over there, the line where the snow is. Lost a good foot of water. And that should have gone all the way across the street. And it's drawing back over there now too. See right here where this ice is suspended in the air. That's how high the water was. Lost a good foot. Now let's see what's across the street. Yep. Look at this, we're losing water. See where it was? Over here it's not as dramatic, but we still lost between 4 and 6 inches. And we're not drawing back anymore. This is such a small pond, it's definitely done by now. Pretty cool though. You definitely see a difference here from before. Now it's actually pouring into the culvert instead of just being steady. You can see the water line inside the culvert. Probably lost close to a foot of water inside the culvert, but now that we're up a step, between 4 and 6 inches in the actual pond. It's really peaceful out here when these roads are gated off for the winter. They'll become snowmobile trails once there's a good foot of snow on the road. Now there's only like a half an inch. The roads you saw me driving on in the beginning of the video were just recreational and logging roads that just nobody's used yet for the day. Those ones weren't actually gated off like this one. Everyone check it out. Here's a pretty dangerous tree that's gonna have to be removed soon. It fell over last night, but it got stuck, making it pretty dangerous to drive underneath. Look at that. It was dead. Those trees are pretty weak to begin with. Now here's a big one up here. Too big to remove without the chainsaw. I didn't think there'd be trees that big up here today, or else I would have taken the chainsaw, and that would have been quite a workout. We're 4 miles from the gate. The chainsaw doesn't weigh that much, but it's still about 20 pounds. Now I want to show you right here is what you call groundwater. You see this right here? Right here in the center, it's still liquid because it's coming up through little holes, and as it dribbles away, it freezes. And over here is a better example. Sometimes it'll create massive sheets as wide as the road. The leaking groundwater, watch this. So slippery. The ABS did not like that. And with a little bit of dusting of snow, you can't see it, and that becomes extremely slippery and hazardous without studded tires or chains. This right here, you'd be fine with studded tires, but if there was a few inches of snow, studded tires would be useless. Depending on what camera I'm using on what day, sometimes you just can't operate them with gloves. If your smartphone or digital camera has a touchscreen and you don't have special gloves, you can't touch it without taking your glove off. And now it could be pretty cold out just to do that. Sometimes when I'm filming and it's negative temperatures, it can be so cold your hand becomes numb in like a minute. So I typically use my nose as a touchscreen pen. It works out extremely well, to be honest. It could, and then there's other situations you just gotta kind of take them off. I have some digital cameras that aren't touchscreen that you have to touch buttons. You can't touch them with these big glove fingers. Now, a lot of times out here on these roadways, there's trees that are too big for me to cut up without my chainsaw. But some situations, like what I'm seeing in front of me, watch, I'm gonna use my nose like I was telling everyone. Right here, smaller stuff, without my chainsaw, I can get rid of this. and that'll help out the road crew or the grooming crew, because the road crew might not be out here again this year. So this might be up to the grooming guy that maintains a snowmobile trail. Let's see if we can get some of this debris out of the way. That was definitely a job for the rake. That was a small tree. And now that the tree's on the ground, I can move it. Oh, I can just slide it back into the woods, I think. Yeah. Ugh. Woo! That guy's gonna need a chainsaw, but there's enough room for a vehicle to go by. Oh, the deer are gonna be excited because they love eating this stuff. And this stuff was somewhere really high up they couldn't reach. Right down the road another 100 feet, got a culvert pipe. Nothing wrong with it. But here we got another tree we're gonna try to move. That tree was so light, dried out and dead. Got another culvert pipe, which is only a few 100 feet down from the last one. There is no blockage and it's in good condition. And I can see the markings. There's another culvert up here, about 30 feet in front of me. Now this one on my way in, I could see has a big blockage, but they'll get this with the excavator. Actually, it's not blocked at all, but they have it flagged, and I think that's because they're gonna remove this. See this trees right here? If you look in here, there's a dam holding up water. It's not a beaver dam. It was caused by a flow of debris. But I'm sure they're worried about that moving. That's what could happen. A big storm surge moves this whole blockage, plugs the culvert, goes over the road and washes it out. And that can happen quickly. This is pretty cool. See, it's coming in right here. Hey, look at that, it connects with the river. Got this long peninsula, it's kind of cool. It's like a highway ramp. Right down here is a giant beaver pond. See, they got this big dam right here and it wraps all the way around. Pretty cool. I also see a lodge. And look how far down it is from the road. Causes no issue at all. Beavers can build a super deep pond there before it'll affect anybody. Awesome. Alrighty, everybody, we just found another blockage on this road. We're gonna quickly unclog. It's just a small little pond, if you'd even call it that. It's nothing more than a puddle. But this culvert has half its diameter blocked by beavers. Most of the clog was able to pass right through, and the few keystone sticks that were holding the dam together, there's not much of them. But water level's slowly going to drop back now. I'm sure you can see more current happening since I did that. From what I did, I only expect this thing to drop back 2 or 3 inches. But let's look at the other side of the road while we're waiting for drawback. Since I've been doing my channel, I've only had one tripod I typically use, unless I'm using multiple cameras. And this tripod I'm using now, I just lost a foot. You know, a little rubber piece that goes on the ground. Fell off somewhere today. Been using this tripod for 6 years. Now we're going on the other side. And we're going to try to get this log out of here because that's going to only encourage beavers to build a dam there, which will back up across the street. Water's definitely flowing better. Ooh, this thing's dripping, waterlogged, and heavy. Trying to flip it backwards. Ooh. Whoa, that tree was such a beast. It actually got stuck in the other tree and dumped some snow on my head. That log was not holding up much water at all, maybe only a ½ an inch. But if the beavers discovered it, it'd be holding up a lot more within a few hours. And we even have a few more trees to remove up there. Let's go see what's going on over here. We only dropped back like an inch or so. It should be able to drop back more, but you see the bottom, how it's bent up by an excavator? Oh, look at the whole top of it too. See all that damage in there? I don't know why these people just don't do it by hand. Then if they did by hand, they wouldn't have to pay someone to drive an excavator out here because that's so expensive. They gotta get it off the truck for every single clog. All right, you see that? It's now removed. Now we gotta walk up the road. And it looks like a few trees are down up here. I think there's a few because I walked by this a few hours ago. You are one stubborn stick. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. It's starting to get chilly out now that we're losing the sun. Got these cleared out of the way. Smaller sticks don't really matter. It's only got to be passable to a truck. Truck can run over all this stuff. You've got to be kidding me. Walking back, I see that some loser dumps a tire in what looks like a mini fridge. Yeah, they just drove out here on a very remote logging road just to dump junk. What is wrong with people? Don't they realize that they could have just left it up here for the Park Service to take away? It's not a big enough crime for them to actually fingerprint you. Could have just left it up here so you're not contaminating the environment forever. I don't understand people. Now I gotta go clean that stuff up. I'm all filthy now because of this person. Alright, so it's a propane refrigerator for an RV. You see, it has the power cord for when you're attached to your campground or generator. And it also has a gas backup. It can also run on gas. I always thought these things were pretty cool. Always wanted one, but they're so expensive. And it's not even worth it, the amount of gas these things use. Unless you're off grid, it's not. Oh, actually, something like this would actually be awesome for someone prone to a power outage, because it would only use the propane if the power went out, and it would keep the food fresh. But for someone that's always using it, unless you actually need it for your off grid, it's kind of a waste. So I always thought these things were really awesome, really cool. Those are your gas controls. Here's the person's beer cans. And here's a tire. And by the looks of it, this guy doesn't know how to inflate his tires. They're overinflated, that's why it worn out in the middle. If they were underinflated, it would be worn out on the edges. And this is the door. Now the Park Service can take it away. All right, everybody. I think we're going to end the video here. Hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.